It is certainly no secret that I use a lot of Acasis products. Acasis. They've sent me stuff, I bought stuff, but generally speaking, I daily drive a lot of their stuff. This is one USB 4 enclosure with ports on it as well. I use this as my editing drive. This is a Thunderbolt 5 enclosure that I use with my Mac Mini M4 Pro. This is an Acasis little dock. This one's actually kind of hard to find, but this thing's really sweet. USB 4, lots of extra ports on it. Really good little product there. And I have this over here. This is a dock that has my M4 Mini in it. Just gonna unplug that. So this is a product I've already reviewed from them. Very good product. You put your M4 Mini in here and you can add some storage like that. But some people don't want something as complex as this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I like it. But they offered to send me another product here. This is more of a stand type base. You can pop your M4 Mini onto it and expand your ports. So you're gonna be able to get more display out. You're gonna be able to get more ports as well, specifically things like USB-A that the Mac doesn't have. Mac Minis don't have USB-A, and storage. Storage is key. So let's jump in. Okay, so here's my Mac Mini. We'll go over that in a moment. Instructions. The dock itself, you do get a little power, which can help power the dock itself. USB-C. You get some little pads here, just feet, rubber pads. Things for the NVMe. And this is the connector, USB-C to C. I'll show you that in a moment. And essentially what you're going to do with this, it's very straightforward, unlike the other dock there, which is great, but it's just, some people may not want that. Some people may want something as simple as just popping it on here, right? You pop it in, you get a nice clean, that looks pretty sick actually. I like that a lot. You pop it on like that, you get a nice clean little setup, very simplistic design, very elegant though, and eloquent. On it, we have host, which goes into the Mac, power delivery, which helps power this here because it's got a lot of ports and storage as well. On this side over here, you have two USB-A, and they're both fast, 10 gigabit per second. That's fantastic. That's fast as for things like this. Like if you have, a 10 gigabit per second enclosure, it'll run that. Or if you have a, where are they? I have my, oh here. If you have a faster storage, like these little Crucial things, these, run at 10 or 20 gigabits a second, nice and fast. So that's really good. Two of them too. So not just slow storage. That's really nice. Two more of them. Amazing. HDMI out. So of course you can still use the display out, the HDMI out on here, but you then have two more. So you can just dual screen off of this, make your life easier. You get two slow USB-A, and these are typically for things like this, which we will test. You put in a thing like that there. So you actually end up with four USB there, four USB-A. You end up with four fast USB-A, two there and two slower ones, whereas a Mac Mini has no USB-A, none. It has your Thunderbolt ports and slow USB-C. So the fact that you're able to get access to USB-A is fantastic, whereas you don't normally have that at all. So really, really well done from Acasis there. On the bottom, you have access to the NVMe, so that just pops off like that. Very well designed, and you can put in an NVMe inside of that. So very well designed. I mean, they have this one over here if you want dual NVMe with a different type of setup. This is if you want a single NVMe, much more clean setup. We know that there's a couple problems with the Mac Mini. They addressed one major issue when they made the M4. They increased the RAM, so it got 16 gigabytes of RAM in the base model. That's fantastic. Good job, Apple. But they left pathetic, atrocious, embarrassing amounts of storage. These are often used by people like me who do video editing, and there's so little damn storage on the thing because you're always going to have to run dongles and dongles and dongles. With something like this, you have a permanent solution where you plug this in, plug it into your Mac, and all of a sudden you have constant access to more storage, which solves one of the major problems with a Mac Mini. Truly, one of the major issues with a Mac Mini. The second thing is you also get access to USB-A. So it's really solving all of the problems there. You can still use stuff like these NVMe enclosures and hook those up as well. Take them, plug them in, take them with you, but this is more one where you put it in there and you leave it. And it's essentially going to be permanent storage for your Mac. Like that. It does support multiple sizes, 2232, 2230, 2242. I can't remember that one is 2260 and then 2280. Like that, pop that in, and boom, you're pretty much cooking right there. Now, a lot of the time you would see enclosures like this and you'd want to have a thermal pad on there that would sit on top of the NVMe, because what happens is they have a fan that cools the metal itself, and the thermal pad just basically allows the NVMe to off heat into the heat sink, which is just the metal. And the fan is designed to blow and cool the metal. This one's different because there's actually a fan that will blow directly into the NVMe. So I probably wouldn't put a thermal pad on it because it's going to go right onto here. So we want the air to actually run over the thermal pad in this case, for this specific design. So we put that in there. It's a 2 terabyte NVMe, very good. And then you can notice here there's that host there, host with the most. So you can put it whichever way you want. I'm assuming that's the front there with the HDMI and that out the back, which makes sense. You usually want your display type stuff out the back. So that goes there. Another nice thing is you can actually access your power button. Isn't that a novel idea? Apple made this really cool thing, and like when it's down, you can't get your, I can't, unless I had like weird, creepy Slender Man fingers, I can't get my finger under there to turn it on. It's just weird design choices. Anyways, so you go like that there. Now this is the host one, right? This goes here, and it just goes in there. So you plug that in there, and all of a sudden you have access to that. It also kind of locks it in place a little bit there. Power delivery, I have one from the other dock, so I'm just going to use that. Very good. And now we're cooking, honestly. We just plug it in and we start it up. Okay, so here we are set up. We're good to go there. Everything's looking nice. Let's get these ones out of here, the little street cred ones. And it's looking fantastic. So we are now powering directly over 2 HDMIs out of this device. I don't have any in the back of the Mac here, none at all. 4K monitor, 4K monitor. So we're able to power 2 monitors, which is fantastic. These happen to both be, this is a 60 Hz monitor, this is a 144 Hz monitor. It's having no problems with both of them. USB 4 is going to have no issues there. So you're going to be able to go from one singular, because this only has one single display out. For some people that's fine, but I'm able to now expand that and put in 2 4K 4K. It's awesome. Okay, so that's one issue solved. The other issue that we can see here is being solved. Mouse and, well, the keyboard's on my lap. And not Bluetooth. It's actually physically using a USB dongle. I don't like Bluetooth if I don't have to, because Bluetooth can have latency, it can drop. Dongles are great. This doesn't have any USB-A, so I just plugged in the USB-A in there, and now I can power my mouse. So that's 2 problems solved with the Mac. Very good. We also have access to more ports where we can test after. That's a totally different thing. But the other thing is here now we have more storage. My base Mac Mini here, my Mac Mini here is not a base. It's an M4 Pro model. So I had to pony up big time to get more storage. Woo! 500 megabytes of storage. 45 by my operating system. And this thing costed me I think it was like $1,300 or $1,400 for this thing. It's crazy. And it still has pathetic storage. So if you're like me, you're going to want more. If you have a base Mac, the base Mac Mini is actually a very good price. It's like $400 or $500, something like that. Maybe 500 right now. They increased to 16 gigabytes of storage, which is awesome. But you only get 256 of storage, which is nothing. Operating system is going to take up, again, about 50. My videos, when I do video editing, each video can be 100 gigabytes. They're usually not. They're usually about 60, maybe 70, which means I can store 2, 3, 4 videos total on my system. That's all I can store. It's crazy. It's so pathetic. So they do offer good value on the base model in terms of like processors and all that kind of stuff, but you get no storage. And even with the Pro model, you still get a pathetic amount of storage. This solves it. So I put in a 2 terabyte. You can add more. You could add a 4 terabyte or a 6 terabyte. 2 terabytes is kind of a sweet spot right now because prices are up right now. So you can get a 2 terabyte for a reasonable price and way cheaper than buying from Apple. It's not even comparable, right? This drive might have cost me $130 or something, or $110. And what would it be for Mac? Like 1,000 to get 2 terabytes? It'd be something crazy. I formatted it as APFS, which is the native Apple format. You could do exFAT, but I'm not going to be taking this out. It's going to live with the system here. So you can just do that. It's very good. So now all of a sudden I've solved all the problems with the Mac Mini. I have more storage. Awesome. USB-A ports on the back for things like this. Awesome. Dual display out, so I can just 1 and 2 screens. Awesome. And I also get access to external fast media as well. So, right, like you don't always have USB-C. This is a USB-A. There you go, USB-A type dongle. And it's going to run fast. In theory, it'll run fast. So I'll be able to then run this as well at good speeds. So we're going to test all this stuff here. That'll take a second to pop up there and be like, hey, you have a NVMe. There you go. Crucial. It's a 4 terabyte thing. Very good. Awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do, oh, it's 8 terabytes, sorry, not the 2 terabyte one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to test them, just see how fast they go. That's all we got to do here. We can pretty much wrap this thing up. It's not a complicated video. If it does what it's supposed to do, it's a great product. And here's the other step. I'm going to hook up this USB 4 40 gigabit, which I use for video editing. Put that in there. There's an enclosure in there. And as you can see here, it's hooked up to the USB-A, and it should be nice and fast in theory. This is not the drive that I use, but we'll just get it formatted, get it set up real quick. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now I have the other drive also plugged in. This is my Acasis 40 gigabit per second enclosure, USB 4. See that there? It's got some extra ports if you need them. I don't use them necessarily, but it's good for that. We are hooked up over USB-A though, right? Very nice. So I can use USB-A as well. I don't have to always rely on USB-C all the time. And now I have even more storage there. This would be one that I would, for example, use for video editing. This is not my video editing drive. I don't want to test on my video editing drive, but just an example. This is what I use this thing for here. So very good. So we have the Mac storage, which should be reasonably fast. Yeah, 3 to 4,000. It's basically USB 4 gigabit, USB 40 gigabit. You're getting pretty good reads, so it's good. No problems there. This is the internal one, which is inside of this, and then we have this one here. Let's see how fast this one is here, the internal storage that I put inside. But even with two 4K screens hooked up, we're still able to get 2.7 gigabit per second reads and 2 gigabit per second writes. That's very good, even with a dual 4K. If you were to kill off one of these screens here, go with a single, or even get like just a 1440p, you'd be actually decreasing the bandwidth and the speed there would go up. That's how it works. So this cable that's inside of here, there's a PCI connector that's hooking up the Mac to this little guy here. There's only so much speed that it can use, that little one that goes in the back, 40 gigabit per second. So we're using some of that 40 gigabit per second for here. So maybe 3 of them go here, 3 of them go here. So we have now all of a sudden 34, right? 34 gigabit per second or something like that left, which is what this is offering. Very good. And we also have this one here, which is now going over USB-A, and it should run close to its max speed. Yep, right, 10 gigabit per second speed out of that port there. It's about right. Yep, pretty close. Very nice. Okay, we'll just test one more over here. It's exactly the same, basically. So what do we have going on here? We can wrap this up very straightforward. This product here is very good. My criteria was it should do exactly what it's supposed to do, and if so, it's a good product. It's offering 40 gigabit per second speeds. Awesome. Tested, working. It offers dual HDMI, which allows you to hook up 1 and 2 4K screens if you want, or you could do low resolutions, whatever. Awesome. It's doing that perfectly. It offers 1, 2, 3, 4 USB-A ports, fast USB-A ports that you can use for enclosures. It's doing that. Awesome. You also get slow ports, 2 USB-A slow ports, which are good for things like dongles for your mouse. It's doing that. Awesome. And it also has a built-in NVMe on the bottom, which allows me to add more storage. Awesome. So it's, in a way, it's a legitimate, perfect product. I would consider this a perfect product. Perfect product is a product that is designed to do something that is needed, and does it well without any issues. Therefore, it's a perfect product. It fills all the criteria that a Mac Mini user would want on a nice, clean little profile, and it does all of them correctly. Therefore, it's a perfect product. So very, very, very easy recommend for me for this one here, the Acasis dock, the 40 gigabit per second mini base dock station right there. Highly recommend. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. I have no issues with it. Nothing has been funny in this one here. It hasn't done anything, no quirks, nothing like that. It's done exactly what it's supposed to do, and it does it perfectly. So easy recommend, easy recommend. I will also put some links to the other ones. I mean, this one here, basically going to do the same thing, but you can put in 2 NVMe's if you care about that. I'll put a link to this one if you want an on the go. I'll put a link to the Thunderbolt 5 if you have a Mac Mini M4 Pro. Put a link to that down there. And I'll put a link to this one, obviously, because this is the criteria of the video. It's like, this is what it's about. But it's a fantastic product. 10 out of 10. What more can I say about it? If you were looking for something like this, and you don't want something that's, as complicated as, this one here with all the extra stuff, you just want a nice, clean little pop it on, good to go, easy recommend. And it's an Acasis product. I use Acasis products as my daily driver and have been doing it for years. This is an old thing. I've had this thing for 2 years, and I use it every single day. It's never failed me. So I can say, at least from my experience, in terms of reliability and consistency, the brand has it. So easy recommend.